Hi, everybody. I'm going to continue my next talk in my working through my own driving anxiety. And as I brought up in my prior video, a huge component was kind of recording different statements on an audio file on my phone, maybe like 10, 15 minutes each, and just listening to them throughout the day. And this has been incredibly impactful to getting me back to normal driving. And the last lecture I spoke about kind of acceptance therapy. And on this one, I want to talk about a motivational component that I think was critical. Now, why was this important to me? It's important to me because it was important for me to kind of put my driving in perspective and not blow it up out of proportion. So one privilege I have in medicine, I see what other people go through in terms of medical illnesses. I've had, patients with testicular cancer, breast cancer, and it kind of makes me appreciate just simply being healthy. So that was the inspiration for kind of coming up with motivational ideas for myself and to reiterate these to myself that I should be fortunate where I am and not just let this driving issue kind of dominate and overcome me. So it kind of reminds me to be grateful. It reminds me of what others are going through, and it reminds me of how light an affliction is, this driving issue is. So the next file that I had dictated was one specifically going through all the motivational statements. And this is also listed in my Amazon ebook, but let me read it out to you. And I want to go through exactly what you hear. So I think the critical thing is I have this on an audio file. It's about 10 to 15 minutes long. And I probably came up with this about a year ago. And I don't know, I probably listened to it hundreds of times. I listen to it when I'm driving somewhere sometimes. I listen to it when I'm on the exercise bike. I listen to it when I'm in the shower, when I'm doing other things. And my idea is that it may not sink into me after 10 times, but after 100 times, some of it does start sinking into it. And it helps me to drive because if I'm more relaxed about life in general, or if I'm more grateful about life in general, then I think it makes my driving easier. So that's why I tape it into an audio file. I'm going to go through the file exactly as you would have heard it from my own audio file, and then I'll just make a few comments at the end. Nobody can control when they die. All I can control is how I live. Positive attitude, positive mood, and hard work. No matter what, I smile and laugh at life and at its twists and turns. I am where I need to be. I'm grateful to be here and experience everything. I keep my head up and move forward. Regardless of my circumstances, I'm excited about the future and not anxious. This in itself improves the outcomes. Living fearlessly despite the circumstances, my way of life, not just for one thing or another. Confess to my faults, others' faults, forgive myself, forgive others, forget, and then fearlessly forward. Life can be and often is short, unpredictable, fragile. I can see this daily in the news. I may as well live every day courageously and understand that this day is a gift. I could argue I'm very fortunate to have reached age 50, considering all the close driving situations I had even before this driving anxiety in 2023. Sleeping on the freeway when I was driving late at night, close calls on different freeways. I'm fortunate to be alive, even to this age. Life can't be gripped too tightly, for nobody has a guarantee they will hold it. Enjoy and live courageously and relax and do the best possible. If I feel down, I immediately look at all the positives in the life and all that many others deal with, or those who may not even be here anymore. I see what others are dealt with: death, illness, special needs children, poverty, no family, and I'm grateful for what I have. Often my issues are far less serious. I see what I have dealt with already: driving phobia, lack of job, debt, money, near accidents, health issues, motion sickness. I'm in a far better position now: health, home, family, job, career, driving. But for the grace of God, I could have had terrible career accidents, active health issues, severe anxiety, and driving phobia. I constantly remind myself of all the positives in my life: great health, family, great finances, great job, resilient spirit, intelligence, great house, honest about mistakes, positive attitude. Many people are missing large parts of this, so I'm very fortunate. Repetition, a willingness to work hard and staying positive despite circumstances will lead to eventual success in everything. I have driven for 35 years without problems. This itself argues that I can and should and will return to normal driving. I'm fortunate to be alive after many close calls on the road. Every day is a gift and should be lived with courage. Anxiety, panic, nervousness, fear, worry, dizziness are products of erroneous, distorted, deranged thinking, something I've never had in my life. They raise the blood pressure and are liars and deceivers. They are simply static and inane noise from one part of my mind. I gently dismiss them as discomfort and not predictions and not danger. Fear, anxiety, panic, worry, nervousness, dizziness are uncontrolled imagination of the worst sort. I live in reality, not the world of fantasy. Anxiety, panic, nervousness, fear, worry, dizziness never help and only harm any situation. They make it more difficult to assess and address any situation. Whatever objectively is going on, even if it's a real problem, fear, anxiety, panic, worry, nervousness, dizziness creates lies, magnifies things, and makes it harder to deal with the situation. Fear, anxiety, panic, worry, nervousness, dizziness wants to permit and magnify problems to gang up on me. I reject this and deal with each issue on its own without being overwhelmed. There are liars, mega liars, and then there's the anxiety, which is the worst of them all. Anxiety is a creature that will try to spread its tentacles into every part of my life. Driving, health, finances, family, friendships. If it is in one of these places, it will attempt to go everywhere. I must and will fight anxiety wherever it shows up into my life. Fear and anxiety is not the problem. I understand their presence due to challenges in my life. Not trying to overcome them is the problem. There has to be basic bravery and courage. I may as well attack and fight and then accept the result. At least I have given it my all fearlessly. I pull out the sword and attack my fears and weaknesses. Regardless of how I feel and what is happening, I will seize the day and attack all issues. People, issues, and fears I face and attack immediately usually disappear. People, issues, fears I avoid follow and attack me. Safety is going out into the world and facing fears and challenges in people. This is how I protect myself. Sitting at home is inviting something dangerous into my life. I can shut myself in, but I can never shut out the world. This is why I go into the world and face down challenges. Life moves ultra quickly. There's no time to spend looking backwards. People have moved on and so must I. Keep eyes and attention focused on the present and the relevant ahead. Don't worry about others in the past and keep moving forward. I didn't and don't need anybody to be nice to me and never in fact wanted this. I needed to and wanted to be nice to others. No matter the situation, slow my thinking and don't allow urgency to penetrate. Think slow but be confident and act quickly as needed. I don't believe something bad until I see the whites of its eyes. Even then I stay positive. Regardless of the circumstances, I am filled with courage, confidence, clear-headedness, calmness, composure, contentment. I constantly exude courage, confidence, clear-headedness, calmness, composure, contentment. For what is my body but a temporary bearer for my evergreen immortal soul? God, I need your help in overcoming this anxiety, panic, nervousness, worry, dizziness. I cast all these negative thoughts, emotions onto you. Please take them unto yourself and allow me to live and drive forward fearlessly. When external pressure rises, I become ever more physically and mentally relaxed. Then I attack the challenge. I can deal with everything. I'm afraid of nothing. I expect and accept the challenges will enter my life. I will simply apply the attack blueprint even when I'm in cold, alone, dark, depressed. This often leads to quick positive changes. Attacking and action and controlled aggression are great weapons against fear, anxiety, panic, worry, nervousness, dizziness. I live and drive by attacking every issue that causes me anxiety and worry. I don't sit back passively. I take a positive attitude and attack the problem in the most effective way. Problematic people, problems, and other issues should be attacked immediately. Things don't go away. They are made to go away. Persistence and repetition lead to a resolution of a lot of problems. I live and drive well, regardless if I'm happy, sad, depressed, anxiety, panicky. I live and drive well, regardless if there's stress in my life. I live and drive calmly, confidently, and courageously despite the circumstances. This is counterintuitive, but the correct approach. This attitude and expectation by itself improves the outcomes. I live aggressively, drive with controlled aggression, and work with controlled aggression. This means I do everything proactively and face down challenges and people in all areas of my life. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to attack all of this anxiety and fear, something I've been showing in great amounts. This itself is a lot to be proud of. This cannot be understated. Somebody mentally weaker would have fallen apart or remained stuck with dealing what I faced in 2023, motion sickness, severe driving phobia. I can't celebrate myself enough when I look at where I am now, for none of these seem to be an issue. I kept it together when I thrived under severe stress like I've always done. I believe this in itself improved the outcome. People are called on to do all types of exceptional actions for different reasons. For me, driving everywhere and motivating myself is far easier than this. This is another way to look at my situation. It's what I'm asked to do for myself at present is quite relaxing and easy and enjoyable. I don't live in the world of what if. I live in the world of what is, coupled with calm and thoughtful planning. I stride forward with positive energy into what is. All negative thoughts, emotions, physical symptoms are just static and noise. It is simply anxiety in one form or another until proven otherwise. Even when anxiety hurls out physical symptoms, heat, dizziness, negative thoughts, hand and feet tingling, light sensitivity, dry eyes, cold symptoms, sore throat, sneezing, nasal congestion, aches, pains, muscle twitches, nausea. I know and understand these have no substance and cannot harm me. They are the works of a complete liar who wants to shackle my life. In fact, it's good to feel them, as they mean I'm healing and pushing at the limit. It's all just anxiety, a lot of bark and no bite. What I control is my behavior, which I've repeatedly demonstrated I can control well in the car, during medical emergencies, in the clinic, car emergencies. I behave great under stress and duress. If one of the people who suffered tragedy, death could speak to me, I'm certain they would advise me to live fearless and enjoy the time, as they're no longer able to do this. Fearing something means inviting this into my life or even something worse. This is why I need to and will train myself into fearing nothing. When near or in panic, fear, anxiety, I reflexively relax and slow my body, mind, and breathe normally. I let my tension plummet. Immediately resolve and cut into problems and people who show an interest in me, good and bad. At times, everybody needs discipline, and to be disciplined, me and others. Do this immediately. No matter what happens, all is and all will be well. Just relaxing and belief in this improves the outcomes. Just relax, believe for a good outcome, and move forward. I can hide from life, but life will never hide from me. This means that people and problems need to be faced down. Never be afraid of another person. This only invites a worse situation where others can feel the fear. Respect what others can do, but never be afraid of them. They are just another human being. The fears and people I challenge and fight dissolve, and the fears and people I attempt to ignore or overlook usually get claws into me. Another way of saying this is what I face fearlessly flees from me, and what I fear follows me. I immediately talk to anxiety and its lies before I do something and when I do something. This is just phobic self-talk nonsense. Visualizing something negative invites in something negative. So I constantly visualize success for myself in life and driving. My inner fire shines and burns through everything. My inner fire shines and burns through all problems in my job and my personal life. Anxiety about any aspect of my life fuels phobic self-talk and downhill negative thinking. This is inviting something bad into my life. I call out anxiety and note its falsehoods and then move forward calmly. Anxiety about any physical symptoms fuels phobic self-talk and downhill negative thinking. This is inviting something bad into my life. I call out anxiety and note its falsehoods and then move forward calmly. Fear, anxiety, panic, worry, nervousness, dizziness are the cause of and the products of distorted thinking, catastrophizing, greatly overestimating the positive bad outcome, uncontrolled negative imagination, forgetting good outcomes. I expect, accept, and allow all of these distortions and then discard them as nonsense immediately. Because of life challenges, it is perfectly fine to be fearful, anxious, and even fear, anxiety, panic, worry, nervousness, dizziness. However, none of this prevents me from driving, living, and working. All of this will pass soon, as I've already seen. I accept and allow all of this fear, anxiety, panic, worry, nervousness, dizziness, do what I need to do, and then I talk myself down, and through all of this process, I keep moving forward, knowing it will soon dissipate. So you can just kind of see, it kind of blends my own experiences that I've had in life in the past, my own experiences in medicine. You know, I was an ICU physician for like 15, 20 years. I had so many close calls in the hospital. Thankfully, I made my way through that successfully. Same thing, I've had medical emergencies in the clinic, emergencies while I was driving, even way before this anxiety hit in 2023. And then the other big thing I integrate is what other people are going through in the world. I mean, if you read the newspapers, look at the internet, you can see what people go through in terms of dying in crazy and unexpected ways. People are afflicted by illness, accidents that happened out of the blue. They're not here, they're disabled, and yet they deal with that. So if I can see all of this, how can I possibly complain about this driving, which is such a light affliction? So again, what I've done is I've taped this on all of what you heard on like a 10-15 minute file, and I just listen to it repeatedly, and it really helps me. I listen to it every morning, and my idea is that repetition will work. Even if I listen to something 10 times and it doesn't sink into me, if I listen to it 100 times, 500 times, it will sink into me. So anyway, I hope you've gotten something out of this video. If you're interested more, look at my prior videos, and you can also look at my ebook on that I have on eBay. And my purpose is I want to kind of give some hope and inspire others who may be in a similar situation in life or driving. And to be honest with you, these lectures, these videos I'm doing, and the ebook, it also helps my own situation because it forces me to kind of spell out all the problems and get through the kind of the life and the driving anxiety that I'm dealing with. Thank you, and see you next time.